Vegas lights shine bright, bad boys sitting pretty. Michael, Steve, Rob running things in Sin City. Podcast blazing truth, rhyming hard and witty. Three kings on the mic, Vegas life gets gritty. Matt Michaels dropping bombs, quick wit, no filter. Sin City's own, blending gold with the silver. Steve taking notes, every word's a thriller. Rob's on the tracks, beats cold like a chiller. Bad Boys a podcast, raw truth they broadcast. Speaking facts so fast, haters coming dead last. Las Vegas legends, three amigos top class. Mic in hand, setting fire, never outclassed.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Vegas Bad Boys of Podcasting. Matt Michaels here along with Sin City Steve, Rob Bossoleri, who apparently is at Nuck Nuck's Comedy Club on 4th and Grand, and Travis, the honorary bad boy, is joining us here today. And let's get right to this, boys, because we got a lot of stuff to cover today since we were at the Chris Bey tribute show yesterday, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But first,
I'm live and direct from Cimarron Boulevard in beautiful Orlando, Florida. I'm about to pass the Steak and Shake. Anyone want anything?
Maybe a little steak and a little bit of shake. Shall we say?
That's at the establishment next door. I think it's called nice. Diamond Doll, or something like that. Oh wait, no, that was DDP's crew. Diamond Doll. Anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, we got our hero here, John Cena, cutting a heel promo. A little reaction from the internet here. No, John Cena does not need new music or gear. That's your fantasy booking, something in your head and getting mad that it didn't happen exactly how you want it. Keeping the same music and attire the fans have hated for over a decade was a smart move. That's more effective than becoming a cool heel with new specs. No, he doesn't need to explain why he sold his soul, at least right now. Not right now. First, he doesn't owe you an explanation. Second, if he wants to give you one, he can do it later. Third, you already know why he attacked Cody Rhodes at Elimination Chamber. It's his last WrestleMania, and he wants to end it by breaking the record for most world titles in WWE. He doesn't need to spell it out. No, he didn't need to mention The Rock. Keeping him out of the promo actually helps his character. Let Cena stand on his own as a major threat, one who just happens to work for another major threat in the final boss. This adds an even bigger obstacle for Cody Rhodes to overcome and gives Cena more credibility if he ends up winning the title at Mania. Don't be the people who spent over a decade demanding a John Cena heel turn only to complain once it actually happens, especially after he delivered an excellent promo on Raw. That's a terrible look, and there's no way to defend it. All right. Steve, I'll go to you first since you're a huge John Cena fan.
Actually, I said that the John Cena heel promo, we were talking about it at the Chris Bey show. I didn't have all that much of a problem with it whatsoever. It's just that the delivery was extremely long. I think that what was done needed to be done. It was very interesting to actually hear John Cena throw out certain phrases, and it was refreshing more than anything. So we'll see what happens as we continue down the road to WrestleMania, but definitely has my attention, and I'm looking forward to that match for sure.
What do you think, Travis? Since you're down there in WWE country, how's the reaction down there in Orlando?
Actually, I'll find out tomorrow, but everyone's saying that it was long, but was it long because of the reaction the audience gave him? For the entrance being in Europe, and you know how European fans are, it's like everyone wants the answer right now, and like people forget there's still 4 weeks till WrestleMania, so it's like We've got a long time. Now the promo tonight I kind of felt was almost similar to last week. I thought maybe tonight could have been changed up a little bit, but I thought the first one was fine. It's like he doesn't really have to acknowledge The Rock. We can get that in a couple weeks. We can get it after WrestleMania. We can get it at WrestleMania. So it's like I think. Well, I'm not. I'm positive Cena and the crew know where they're going with this, and people just need to be patient.
Yeah. No doubt, Rob. Is it just fucking again internet overreaction of everything sucks, so go fuck yourself? You guys never do what we want, and when you do what we want, that's not what we want.
Partially. The character he came out with at that moment at Elimination Chamber was something we'd never seen before. That soulless version of John Cena, which we thought we were going to get possibly with Cody. And of course, Cody tells him to fuck off. Cena's face goes deadpan and he wanders off with The Rock into the night. Now, he comes out with piss and vinegar last Monday, and his answer is, I blame the fans. And I went, wait, I have a hand up, teacher. I don't get this one. I get he could be angry at the fans, but you haven't been there in 5 years. Not really. You would make a one-off appearance and lose. And when you did show up, the fans were completely behind you. When you said Roman Reigns had a bar of soap in his mouth and you need to learn how to cut a promo, 100% everyone behind him. When he would show up on SmackDown here,
but he justified that. He justified all of that stuff.
I know. I know.
For them.
Okay. We'll get to that, but I want to. This is the big pin.
I forgot. We got to talk 20 minutes before you get to the
the point is what we were told the villain was, and then this other guy who came out on Monday were two different people, two different types of villains. It's not that I didn't like it. It wasn't appropriate to the storyline that they gave us at Elimination Chamber. Tonight, he rectified that a little bit. He came out with expressionless. It took him a while to get to that level of anger. He fixed it a little bit tonight, but he was hot fire right out the gate on Monday. Everyone was like, oh, it was super over because he was a heat magnet, I guess, but he could have done that either way. So he corrected tonight. But last week's promo didn't care for it. It didn't match up what they were showing us at Elimination Chamber. It was like two different people.
Okay. And listen, the truth of the matter is that it's exactly what Travis said. The idea is it's a long game, and really, honestly, it's a long year, because we can't just say, what is it? It literally has to go an arc and end by the end of the year. There's already speculation that he turns face again in like 2 months or something like that. So there's already buzz that's, people are getting fucking, upset already for no fucking reason. So instead of playing stuff out, let's just overreact. And I think it's bullshit.
I don't think it's a matter of overreact. Just be consistent. Because I was really hoping for him to just come out like soulless, zombied guy. But that's fine. That's fine.
But if he's still a zombie guy, he's not really doing much, Rob. He's just going.
No, but that's when I wanted to see The Rock come out there, because you were the one who said it. You were the one who said it, who said, hey, this is soulless John Cena. And I went, okay, I like this. This is something it's something new. We started off with a Triple H written thing, and we ended up in Vince McMahon territory with, it was all your fault. And I went, that's what you came up with? You had something way better than what you ended up with. But you're right. It's a long game, but I would like to see The Rock in the beginning take some ownership of the guy. This is the same as what we saw with Bryan Danielson when he joined the Wyatt family, and he was still Bryan Daniel. And I'm like, what? Shouldn't he be like them? Oh, no, he's just acting like himself, and he's wearing coveralls. Who gives a shit?
But again, cool heel. Anything you do and you make him a cool heel, it defeats the whole fucking point, because now fans want to cheer him. And that's it. So make fans even better. You didn't do anything special for us. Once again, it's his whole fucking point. So there you go. Okay, speaking of points, what the fuck? Dave Meltzer weighs in on the potential triple threat match between Roman, Seth, and Punk. It doesn't make any sense. Literally, none of these men have history together. I will repeat that. Literally, none of these men have history together at all. Scoffs. I've seen the biggest throwaway matches that Vince has given us throughout the years, but this might actually take the cake. Absolutely bleak. And then this asshole says he might be right. Okay, who wants to weigh in on Dave Meltzer and how he doesn't watch WWE apparently ever?
I'll go.
We'll let Steve go first.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna be a Dave Meltzer apologist on this shit. Obviously, I've always been the person on this show that's talked about continuity and paying things off and actually staying true to storyline and making sure that when you start an arc that you finish it.
Right.
All those things being said, yeah, these guys definitely have history with each other. You can play off of obviously Shield history. You can play off of the the subtext that the Shield were supposedly a security team for CM Punk. Like there's so many different angles that you could go with this shit, and I don't get Dave's point with this. What really stood out to me was that screenshot with Cultaholic actually saying he might be right, because Cultaholic, they're very how should I say this? Very WWE friendly with a lot of their stuff.
Sure.
So for them to say that Dave might be right in saying that they don't have any history was kind of an eyebrow raiser for me.
Well,
yeah.
I will probably say that it was more pointed to that last line of "this is a throwaway match," going back to Vince. So I think that that's more so what they're saying. But I also think that there is a cult out there who believes CM Punk should be in the main event and are still pissed about that. So that could be a little.
Oh well.
Travis.
No, go ahead.
Oh, he's getting his gear on too. He's
look at that 3-point parking just for us.
Right.
All right, you go ahead, Rob.
This is a legacy match, so to speak. These are three guys who deserve to fight each other. We want to see who's the best amongst them, and they all have interconnected histories between Paul and between the Shield. Let it happen. Let it get it out of their system, and then let's see what flowers grow from this. I like this idea completely. I don't understand where you would say there's no history there. And by the way, every backstory has been about I trained you, and you fought for me, and you were all right. They do that in every stinking promo. I think Meltzer is one of those guys. Let's be honest. How many times do we see DJ go, yeah, I'll be honest, I didn't watch the match this week. Tell me what happened. We have somebody who's like, give me the Cliff Notes. You want the Cliff Notes to 15 years of storytelling? And now you're going to try to summarize what happened last week and ignore the last 15 years? That's what happened here.
And the guy obviously knows that Seth and Punk have history.
Of course.
So
absolutely.
Seth and Roman have no history. There's no
Yeah.
history with Seth and Romans.
Yeah.
Seth wears these like outfits that are flamboyant, and Roman's got his thing, and they're just whatever.
Travis, you want to comment on Roman's thing?
Yeah. Roman's thing is
What got Mandy kicked out of WWE? What?
I don't know.
I'll reinstate her. I'll reinstate her right now. Executive order. I want to see Mandy's rose.
So, I mean, you got to realize how do I say this? Okay, Meltzer doesn't watch WWE. You can on his Wednesday night show when him and Brian recap NXT. It's Brian always talking about NXT. Meltzer never has an input about NXT. You know why? Because he doesn't watch NXT. And he's like, oh yeah, that's right. Well, I heard it, but it's just like he chimes in with little shit, but it's Brian recapping the whole show. And then like before that, Meltzer would go so in detailed to the point of what time Taz clipped his toenails on Dynamite. Like he will give you every single piece of Dynamite there is, and then it's like, oh well, okay, Brian, now recap the show, and I'll say like 10 words of your whole recap. Meltzer is an idiot. We have all established that, so I'm not saying anything new. But I know Meltzer was very frustrated because when Will and Kyle went into a cage in a, you know, seat building of 11,000 people and did all kinds of crazy shit, Meltzer loved it. But 24 hours later, in a sold out Madison Square Garden, when Seth and Roman were in the, or Seth and Punk were in the cage, yeah. Meltzer's like, oh, well, you know, he wants to dissect every single thing. Too many kickouts. The match went a little bit too long. Why are there so many kickouts? I'm like, dude, did you see how many kickouts Kyle and Will did the night before? 24 hours inside a fucking steel cage? Like, come on, dude. Like, it's ridiculous.
Well, there was no Mark Davis in the Punk match, so I could see why Meltzer didn't like it.
What we need is some more bowl haircuts, and that'll.
And it's funny because he's so worried about, well, there's no history, or there's like, where's the storyline? As if everything on the pay-per-view 24 hours prior made sense.
Right.
As if everything on Dynamite that week or Collision that week made sense. You know, are we, you know, let's get to the fact that tomorrow night or whatever, this Wednesday, you know, if Dave's so picky on what makes sense and what story does connect within WWE, I believe Tony Storm and Thunder Rosa teaming up as a tag team this Wednesday.
Yep.
And there's not one mention on any social of their post that they're a former tag team that had a name, that had a T-shirt. Yeah. Oh, it's just Tony Storm and Thunder Rosa teaming up. No mention of its, what were they called? Thunderstorm.
Thunderstorm. Yeah. Easy name.
Yeah. Yep. So it's like, oh, but he won't nitpick on that though.
But it was timeless Tony Storm.
He'll nitpick on too many countouts between Punk and Seth.
Well, if only Punk and Seth had, you know, used a screwdriver and, you know, screwed each other, then, I mean, he kind of liked the fact that Will and Kyle were screwing each other. So
now you could use barber scissors too. You know, because people just carry scissors in their pockets.
Well, you know, speaking of Barb, John Moxley gets spike board stuck in back during gruesome match. Click to read more. Thank you, TMZ. I won't click, but I'll get a nice picture there of his back and some fan reactions. United Pop Culture Media, D. Stylesneck said, how completely stupid and dangerous. Seriously, if you need to do this to get over, then you have real problems. Here's a novel idea. Why not try good, solid storylines and matches to get to the wow factor? And also has, from Carlos Peredio, I guess, has AEW become backyard wrestling?
D. Styles NYC and Carlos Pedrero.
Thank you. You'll take those next. Has AEW become backyard wrestling? Is this to get more ratings? Question mark. So let me just start with this. Here's my problem. It was the World Championship match. You knew that this guy, I'm assuming, you knew that this guy was going to take this in his back. You were going to be bringing out 3 people we haven't seen in a few weeks. And you were going to have a heel turn for Dax at the end of this match. And you put it in the middle of the fucking show. That's my problem, period. This guy has no fucking clue what he's doing when it comes to making a TV product. And that's that, man. I you know, fuck Mox. If he wants to fucking puncture his lung, fuck him. He's a fucking backyard wrestler anyway, whatever. But at least fucking put it at the end of your show, because that's what people should be talking about. Not Tony Storm just giving a promo about how she's going to rip the tits off of Bane and fucking put a strap on and fuck her in the middle of the ring or whatever the hell that fucking thing was.
Hold on. Wait, that's a main event. That's a main event.
Sign me up.
All right. Good Lord. What's wrong with you?
That's a main event on the tube sites I watch.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the country. I mean,
on that orange YouTube.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
I mean, Travis, you would know how to capture the moments in that match.
capture the moment.
Yeah.
Hollywood cinema there,
Hey,
because Tony Storm is an actress.
Hold on, Tony. Just hold this pose. We'll do the rest.
Matt,
do this pose.
you bring up a really good point, man. Keep in mind, they didn't choose to end the pay-per-view with what they could have ended it with. They could have ended it with the cage match, or they could have ended it with the Tony Storm Mariah May match.
right.
And why didn't they do that? The only reason that we even threw out on the show was because that was the world title. And that was the only thing that made sense. And yet here you have an episode of Dynamite where you have a world title match literally in the middle of the show. And what main events your show but Megan Bain? Just obviously, yes, we're building storyline. I get that. I'm appreciative that they're doing that.
Sure.
But and obviously I'm not going to go into the detail about how it's too early for her. But at least they're trying to establish somebody as being a credible challenger by destroying the entire division.
Hold on. First of all, her name is not Megan Bain. It is not Megan Bain. It's Taya Valkyrie Light. We've seen that gimmick 5 fucking years ago on TNA. Same exact fucking gear, same shit. She'll be semi-flabby wrestling with Deonna Purrazzo in 3 years on Ring of Honor. Okay, that's her future, Megan Bain. As for
sorry, John. Morrison,
I'm glad you think Ring of Honor is going to be around in 3 years.
No, but yeah, and here's the thing. If I'm John Moxley and I'm the champion, and forget kayfabe, forget all this, I have an ego, any type of an ego, I would say, whoa, what do you mean? I'm in the middle of the fucking card. No. We're doing a hardcore match that's going to end the fucking night or I walk, or we don't do it at all. So I don't understand why all of these people are okay with being mediocre. Why they, your champ is allowing himself to be treated like a mid-carder. That doesn't make sense to me. No one would want that. I can't imagine anyone. I'm a comic. I can't imagine anyone who takes themselves seriously going, I'm okay with being at the middle. Nobody would want that as an entertainer. Why would you want that?
I think there is one industry that being in the middle as an entertainer is pretty acceptable.
All right. Yeah. Amanda Rose, just call me Miss Sacamano from New York. You have a spot in the cabinet, and it's made of the hardest wood like you've never seen before. I am your one true only fan. Believe me.
So, I mean, Travis, the spot itself was just honestly fucking stupid. Poor Yuta is, trying to pull it, and then it's like, fuck this, let the guy with the gloves pull this goddamn thing off, because this is unfucking real. They weren't prepared. And then you ruin the match, because there is no more match for the next 3 to 5 minutes of it, because now all it is just all these run-ins, because Moxley cannot wrestle. Your fucking champion still wins, even though he can't physically do anything. What is going on?
It's not even that it was in the middle of the show. It was the fact you gave this away for free in front of 1,800 people, when you could have done it in front of 11,000 people and a bunch of celebrities just a week prior in LA.
Yeah, sure.
It would have meant more in happening in Los Angeles, California than Omaha, Nebraska. It would have meant more closing the show, yes. But it would have meant a lot more to make people pay to see this happen. We gave this away for free. And then we still lost to NXT in the ratings. So Stephanie McCurry going out there and saying, hey, I'm sorry, but English is my second language, got more views than a wood with nails in the back of John Moxley.
Yeah.
But this is something they never learned. Remember when Cody did that dive onto the flaming table, burned up his back for a week and got nothing for it? You think they would have learned, spots like this don't amount to anything if there isn't a good storyline leading up to it. And that match too, if I'm not mistaken, was on a regular night and not on. So this is nothing new. This is par for the course.
No, it's nothing new at all. And that's why there's I'm almost say, hey, let's talk about the next topic, because we could talk about the same exact thing with some other AEW talent in about a month. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
There's going to be some crazy shit on Dynamite or Collision, and it's going to be like, well, 1,800 people saw it live, but still got our ass beat by NXT.
Yeah, but here's the thing now, which I find ironic. Look at their rooms now. Their rooms have shrunk. AEW's rooms. Their rooms are the size of TNA rooms, and TNA puts out a better product. Why the fuck doesn't TNA just swap it? Put AEW on Access TV for a year. I know that I don't have a contract, but still, it would be funny as hell. You know what? Yeah, you guys are not just here. We're gonna swap it. AEW, you go down to Access. In fact, you go down to the Pursuit Network, and you guys, you've been worthy. You get to go up, and TNA, you'll get the Wednesday night spot. Enjoy.
Well, speaking of, you did say Cody didn't get anything out of that. He did get a little wet brandy when he got home, so all good. Okay, so
he got a WWE contract out of it.
That too.
By the way, why hasn't Abyss or Mr. Parks sued Edge, Mr. Copeland there for using Janice? I want to see him come out in the suit and go, "Excuse me, sir, you were never allowed to use that weapon. That belongs to me, sir."
Well, luckily,
so
he's got it.
It's funny. It's funny you bring that up today, because the story about Janice, right? The board Janice that Abyss used was named after Dixie Carter's mom, who actually passed away yesterday. So yeah, it was interesting fact that was brought up by you guys tonight, because Janice the board he named it after Dixie's mom. So
wow, that's impressive. That I did not know. We got sports entertainment guy in the building. All right, man. Nice to have you joining us. So
that font was so tiny, I thought it said Spearmint Rhino guy.
Hey,
it's like,
man,
you guys got some guy. So you guys got some passes for me when I come to Vegas next month, or what's going on here?
Well, no, we have the
new sponsorship.
We can only afford the Peppermint Hippo.
Coming on the stage, doing their podcast live.
No, hold on, you gotta do it the right way. All right, guys, Beaver Bucks away to play, Beaver Bucks away to play. And don't forget now, coming up to the stage, the way to watch your wrestling, the Vegas Badboyz. Where's everybody going?
Speaking of making people go, where's everybody going? This to me made no fucking sense. So you have a 4-way match in which you end up having 2 guys pin 1 guy so that it becomes a 3-way at the pay-per-view. Steve, justify that crap.
I love how you just kick it to me and you're like, justify it, because I can't. Realistically, what they should have done is this week they should have done Mike Bailey versus Ricochet.
Yes,
If they had both of those guys as co-winners of the match, why not just have a singles match this coming week?
I literally went, the pay-per-view's not even this weekend. Why are they just, this is the match?
Yeah, shoehorning it in. I mean, literally, it's because you don't want to beat, I guess it's because they want Mike Bailey in the match, but they don't want to beat him yet.
This is back to what I've said. If you are a talent of any level and caliber, this is why I argued so vociferously for our good friend who was thrown through a car windshield because she was not ready yet. If you are supposed to be so goddamn good, you wouldn't settle for this shit. this is where I don't get. If I don't like anything at my day job and I work in sales, I go find a sales manager and I go, hey, I don't like the way you're positioning me or some of the people on my team. You're not letting them shine. You're not letting them do the things they're supposed to do. Or
Right.
I'm not being given the opportunity to show my true talents. You're going to water me down because you're going to put me in a triple threat match. So while I could have a 15-minute banger or a 20-minute banger for a title and have two good, strong matches, you're going to water me down and spend 5 minutes in the corner here and there, not letting people get to see my talents instead of building me up.
Yeah.
Mike Bailey is new. Ricochet is not. Mike Bailey can afford to take a loss to Ricochet and then let Ricochet either develop a character, of which we saw the other day. He's actually quite entertaining when you don't kneecap him and you let him just hang loose a little bit and get relaxed on a mic. He's actually really fucking entertaining. And then when you could see his personality, his true personality develop along with the in-ring skills that he already has, and you would get the character that you wanted. But they didn't do that. And Mike Bailey's a Mighty Morphin 90s mullet Power Ranger dude. That's what he's always going to be. You know, fine. He wants to be Brandon Lee. Fine. Cool. That's maybe his ceiling. I don't know, but he's another one. I never met the guy. I happened to meet Ricochet 2 days ago at a fucking Best Buy. Be honest, it was a passing conversation. Couldn't grab too much depth from it. Guy was shopping. And I said a couple of things to him. He's like, oh, thank you. Fine. Cool beans. I get that much. But then I see him at a live show and he's amazing on a mic. Like, wait a minute. If that's his capability when he's not have a script shoved in his face, we wouldn't have scissors in.
Well, there's no script.
Whatever. What is that?
that.
Who would come up and say that was something good? Especially
That's
when
what he's doing. They don't get checked. No one checks this stuff. We know
yeah,
this.
it's just
Oh, they get checks, all right. Get checks, all right.
And they get checks from a guy who, definitely hands out these little baggies as rewards.
No. He keeps that all to himself.
Well, anyway, I don't know if he kept it to himself this week because apparently we're going to get into this little thing here. The AEW roster showed their commitment yesterday by getting to Dynamite despite the weather conditions, and it didn't go unnoticed by Tony Khan. Quote, everyone advertised got there, but I was told by a lot of people, I was told a lot of people were not there. That's one of the reasons these matches went so long is because a lot of the segments that were scheduled were scrapped. I heard a lot of people weren't there, but every single person who was advertised was there. And they did manage to deliver every match. It wasn't easy, but everybody got in. There were people who had to fly to Kansas City because they couldn't land in Omaha and drive from Kansas City. With Mercedes Monet, she had to drive from Des Moines in the blizzard and everything. The feeling is, especially from Tony Khan, that he has really felt that people went over and above because everybody tried and people went through a lot more. John Moxley being a key one. People went through a lot to get there when they easily could have said, look, it's just too much. And I think he would have accepted that, but that didn't happen. Everyone that was important to the show got there. Even on Collision shows, every match they had advertised for Collision took place. Oh, Dave Meltzer. Okay. So there was a cocaine storm, and first, I don't even know where to start with this. So I'll just
There is nowhere to start because it's fucking Meltzer. It's a bullshit story. Okay, first of all, Meltzer, if you want to go with this report, then give me proof that the airport shut down. Let's start there. Because that would be public knowledge if the airport shut down and not every flight was canceled going into Omaha. So Meltzer is telling a lie at that point. Second, a lot of the times there are questionable situations about talent arriving to a city for AEW is because he allows those talent to fly in the day of the show.
Right.
All right. Your NFL team is not flying in on Sunday morning. Your NFL
his
NFL team is.
His NFL team is. Have you seen him play?
Well, I mean, that's they fly in probably Friday afternoon and they just drink until Sunday morning. But they're at least in the city. But it's like his like, why are you having your talent fly in the day of your TV show? That doesn't make sense. Even NXT, when they do their TVs on the road, they have to fly to the city Monday. So that way you have all day Monday, late afternoon, late night to try to figure out how to get someone there. If your celebrity star is having an issue getting there, I'm sure you have enough money to get them a private jet and get them into that city. The major airport may be having issues, but if you get a private jet to fly into a smaller airport, they could get there. Okay, because
Now, excuse me, Travis. It's very rude.
what's his
Mercedes Monet was busy filming the 4th season of The Mandalorian, where she burps Grogu and then breastfeeds him. It's a very harrowing scene. It's an unbelievable physical connection of mother and little Yoda, and it brought me to tears. I had an early access viewing of the making of, and I just was moved. And if she has to be late because she has to breastfeed a little fucking puppet, then fuck it, let it happen. What do you want from a poor woman?
He does this travel bullshit, and then Meltzer wants to cover up for it. Because I'm not lying, a lot of his talent do fly in the day of the show because they have that freedom to book their flights that way. Because I'm curious about what's going to happen this week because he has Rosa booked on Dynamite this Wednesday.
Yeah.
She's wrestling in London tomorrow.
Yeah.
So he's banking on the airlines to everything goes smooth. And for her to go from London to Minneapolis,
so here's what she has to do.
and then with jet lag and all that, to go out there and do a match, she can barely do a run-in without jet lag. Now he wants her to do a fucking tag match after wrestling in London 24 hours earlier with jet lag. Come on, dude. Like, why does this
go on Busted Open to talk about it?
No, she doesn't. She puts over NXT, and that's great. So, it's that's a whole different. We'll talk about that on next week's episode, I guess. But it's like it's crazy that like it's his concept of travel for his talent is like, what are you doing, dude? Like, and Meltzer covering up with this fucking snowstorm.
What is your belief of why Meltzer is such a mark for AEW?
Because he lost his WWE contacts. And I'm going to be honest and say, if you can pinpoint of when he lost his contacts, and you can almost pinpoint who his contact was. John Laurinaitis. I'm not saying that it was. I don't want anyone to get in trouble here, but a lot of his stories started to, become not factual during that time that there was a major shakeup in the office. And there were other people. There were other people that we all know got released around that time, office-wise, that you can look around and see. But it was around that period, about 2 years ago, when his stories within WWE started to not become factual, and it just frustrated him. And it frustrated him that WWE got so hot. And it's not the fact that even WWE got hot; it was the fact that NXT started to get hot. And he'll bring up, like, it's like when he reports shit and like, oh, this is AEW ratings, but it doesn't include the max numbers. Who gives a fuck, dude? I thought, he at the end of last year was always saying, I can't wait till the Netflix deal starts, because then we don't have to talk about ratings anymore. Now he goes more in depth about ratings. It's like,
but how can he hang his hat on AEW as AEW loses relevancy? And if AEW, if I'm him and I am now beholden to AEW to make myself look more relevant, I'm going to go and criticize them more than anything. Because first of all, he'll get more traction if he criticizes them for their shortcomings than if he just pumps them up artificially. He needs them to succeed. They're not going to succeed with empty praise.
He's getting money. He has a person.
Yeah, it's his connection. I mean, I'll go back to, he drove. I mean, it's not a long drive, but he went from San Jose to Oakland to the Collision tapings. But when Monday Night Raw was in his hometown of San Jose, he did not go to Monday Night Raw. And that's just fact. Because you know why he didn't go? Because he didn't have a connection to get comps anymore.
Well, wait, he shouldn't need comps because he's a journalist. He should have credentials.
Yeah. So
but that's would they, because he's going to start putting out, is he considered credible anymore? The way the three of you are describing it, you don't even consider him credible.
He's not credible anymore. He's no longer a journalist. I consider him a historian.
Right.
I won't take his. He's very good at his historic writings, but he's no longer.
Maybe they don't care, but would they not want him to have access so he doesn't just write bullshit stories about them?
The PC has been open 10 years now.
Yeah.
He has been invited to go check out the PC and has refused to do so. But he will fly from San Jose to London to hang out and go to an AEW pay-per-view all the way in fucking London. But he won't fly from San Jose to Orlando to see the Performance Center. There's been almost, I believe, every other journalist that's out there that's within that circle, PWI, Satin, a few other people, who have been at the PC. Dave's the only one that will not go. And it's like, why, dude? All these other journalists, whatever you want to call them, they will attend AEW in their city, but they will also attend WWE that's in their city.
Right.
They're not just going to pick and choose. So it's very it's very prevalent, and it's at least Brian's just as goofy as he is, but Brian will go to SmackDown when SmackDown's in Seattle or Raw's in Seattle. Right. So, but Dave, he's very cocky because it is the Observer, and he knows a lot of people grew up and reading his shit, and he had a lot of friends in the industry, but he's losing them. He's losing his credibility, and the fact that he sits on Twitter and just argues with everyone every single day, people that only have 50 followers, he'll go and argue a whole thread with someone who has 50 followers. Like, dude, what are you doing? It's like, I hate to be the person that says it, but no wonder your wife divorced you.
Oh, jeez.
Here's a big thing too. So there was this hype up that they did of how it was Moxley literally pulled up to the building, got out of the car, and that whole shot was him walking to the ring. The problem with that is, if you are banking that this guy has driven this much time and he's literally pulling up to the building and you're starting the match right into it, makes no fucking sense, because again, it's TV, right? So you have the luxury of, if Moxley is literally not in the building yet, moving that match to the end of the fucking show. It's all fucking lies and bullshit. And if you want to hear the lies and bullshit, you can catch him and Brian at the Palms WrestleMania weekend. They'll be doing sit down at the Palms.
They're throwing a sweet party the night of that Sunday night at the Cosmo. Well, it's going to be interesting who randomly shows up unannounced, unexpectedly. Because the Cosmo has great espresso martinis.
Oh, I was going to say maybe like President Trump.
Well, honestly, showing up unexpectedly this weekend at TNA. Wow, man. JC Jane shows up, attacks Masha Slamovich. We have 2 NXT tag teams show up, and Gigi and Tatum will get a match with the champions Ash and Heather this week, and it's heating up, and we get Chavo making his return to TNA. So one of the best things about NXT and TNA working together is the fact that the TNA's women's division is very soft, and you don't have a depth to it. And having the NXT women go over and work has been very beneficial for them. It really has.
I actually have to go, but I'll say this real quick. I think the usefulness of TNA to NXT and NXT to TNA has been great. I really think it's how Dynamite, or it's really how AEW and ROH should be used. There's, don't just put the title on Jericho because you're trying to sell a TV deal to the executives. Let it mean something. Let Swerve show up in ROH. Let Tony Storm and so on. Other people show up in ROH, and it's like you're seeing how well it works with TNA and NXT. Why not? I mean, you're taping the same fucking show on the same night, so why not have your talent show up? Like WWE, not scared to put Penta on main event. Not that's cross-branding shows, but it's like, go in and do it. It's like,
well, if we are, they're crossing everybody, crossing paths amongst both brands. So I always thought that brand separation was kind of bullshit. When they need to, they'll put somebody out there, and it's entertaining when they do that. So,
well, I mean, that's because you need to give the European fans something. If of course you're going to have your SmackDown brand host SmackDown shows, but if you're in Florence, Italy for SmackDown, and you get the chance to put CM Punk on that show because you don't know when Florence, Italy is going to come back around on the schedule, why not? But it's like, that's a special occasion. I can't count what's going on the past 2 weeks in WWE land as this is how it should be and is always going to be. The European shows are very special. We've all seen it, and we all knew that going into the 2 weeks. But it's like, you have these AEW talent, so many AEW talents not being used. Why not cross them over into ROH? Why can't I see Private Party over there? Why can't I see Top Flight over there? Maybe take the AEW match, put it on ROH, but say, hey, then the winners are going to get an ROH tag jam. Look how Axiom or Fraxium and the Hardys are crossing over and doing tag title matches. You can do that with ROH and AEW. So it's
that makes you wonder what ROH is really all about, because we went to the Collision show 2 weeks ago. ROH was right after it. Ring of Honor is right after the Collision live show, and half the people got up and left.
Of course, because he doesn't know how to tape his shows.
Right.
That's not how you tape a show.
No.
If you're West Coast, so Collision started at 5. So, doors open at 3:30, start taping your show at 4 o'clock.
Wait. I think let's go back to the Virgin.
I have to ask all of you, you are so great for Collision. How many of you had been to AEW before tonight? Were any of you at our very first show, Double or Nothing? Were any of you here at AEW for the first time ever tonight? Did any of you have a great time tonight? Okay.
He's still been going for a week straight.
Is he still he's still on stage going?
Yeah. So.
Give it up for the guys cleaning up the coke on the floor. Give it up for the guys putting it back up my nose. Give it up for the ladies in the back taking a shit. Give it up for the other ladies cleaning up that shit. Give it up for the guy cleaning up the popcorn that I spilled on the floor. Give it up for...
He's still going on stage in Vegas because there was a snowstorm. He couldn't get to Omaha, Nebraska. But I gotta go. It's like midnight here in Orlando. We had a great night. My friend's buying Pokemon cards over here. So
give it up for the guy buying the Pokemon cards. Give it up for the guy who got the autographed Charizard.
Swerve,
all right, it's been a pleasure.
Swerve says hi, man.
Fuck him. I mean, yeah, he's a great guy. And now I have to DM and say I'm sorry. Is he actually watching the show?
I don't think he's watching, but yesterday, yeah.
But my personal best
we'll
friend,
work on getting him on this show. But speaking of people on your show, well, we'll talk about trying to get you guys something during Vegas.
Okay.
So
yeah.
hopefully they have a shot of tequila in them, or at least I will. So someone will. All right, guys, I got to run. It's been a pleasure. Catch you later.
Excellent. Take care, brother.
The pleasure was all yours.
All right. So also this week, unfortunately, I can't believe I'm saying goodbye. Not only a job, the passion, the sport of pro wrestling, myself and Bull James versus Mike Santana, and I hate everyone, Alpha Jr. Reason I'm leaving because I went to my doctor and found cyst in my brain. Had it for months, getting worse. My vision, speech is bad because the hard hitting, getting knocked out, and hitting a plane to travel. March 20th, Outlaw Wrestling means a lot. I want people to party and smile, except for Alpha Jr. I'm a survivor. I always win. BS battles, bottom of my heart. Thank you for your support. This is not goodbye. This is a see you later. And that was Homicide. The Legend Homicide concluded his in-ring career with a victory at Outlaw Wrestling's event in Brooklyn on Thursday. Teaming with Bull James, he defeated Mike Santana and Alpha Jr. in his retirement match, which also coincided with his 48th birthday. This accumulating bout followed an announcement of his retirement due to medical diagnosis with a brain cyst, which has impacted his vision and speech. The event was marked by a significant show of respect from fellow wrestlers and attendees, including a locker room-wide standing ovation. Numerous industry figures such as Santana, Eddie Kingston, and CM Punk publicly acknowledged Homicide's contributions to professional wrestling. Ring of Honor, where he held both world and tag team championships, further commemorated his career with a comprehensive video tribute. You just hate to hear that news. Hopefully everything is taken care of for him and he's able to have a healthy and happy retirement. Just had to point out, and again, Homicide was a spectacular talent in the ring for a couple decades. All right. So also we had David Finlay. He's done it. He defeated go ahead, Steve.
Shota Umino.
There you go. To win the 2025 New Japan Pro Wrestling Cup. He will take on, go ahead, Steve.
Hiroki Goto.
For the IWGP Heavyweight Championship at, go ahead, Steve.
Sakura Genesis.
On April 5th. Steve's my Steve's my translator there. David Finlay getting some love over there. He's going to be he's
part of the best tag team ever, Fin Juice.
Fin Juice. Yeah. The thing is, David Finlay, he's a great in-ring worker. The biggest problem is that Shota Umino, New Japan had a lot of plans for this guy, and then they cut his fucking hair. So now he looks like every Joe Schmo off the roster. And okay. Like he had, lustrous hair, and that was part of his gimmick. Like he was clearly being built as a new age Tanahashi. And then they go and they cut his fucking hair for whatever reason. So the dude that was the start of it, and he's just not getting the crowd reactions that he was getting previously for one reason or another. So the crowd is just giving up on Umino, and it was pretty much a dead match. That's never a good thing for a finale or a finals of your tournament.
Speaking of never good thing, Alberto El Patron, the former Alberto Del Rejo, has been suspended from wrestling in Tijuana for 6 months after confronting fans who threw coins at him during a AAA show. He jumped into the crowd and threw a chair, prompting another chair to be thrown. An elderly woman was injured and hospitalized, leading the Tijuana Wrestling Commission to impose the ban. With that,
he's banned from the entire fucking city.
Yeah, it's
Jesus.
Yeah, and I just love that in this day and age, an elderly woman is still at a wrestling show.
Oh yeah,
like those clips you'd see of the '80s with.
But if they don't throw coins at him, how is he going to pay his rent?
Oh Jesus.
And Goldberg says he'll be cleared to wrestle in a very short period of time. I just know what I got stem cells 5 weeks and 6 days ago, and I'm cleared physically in a very short period of time. So get ready, because Goldberg is looking to do that final match this year. And speaking of legends, look at these two cuties. Aw, that's little Lex Luger and the Stinger. So here we go. Dave Meltzer says if he was AEW, he would not let Sting induct Lex Luger into the WWE Hall of Fame. They did that with Billy Gunn. That turned out really well. I wouldn't do it. Just that sentence. Go fuck yourself. Anyway, the situation's changed. You can play the good guy all you want. When the other side is always taking cheap shots at you and slapping you around, remember when that company started and the Rhodes Kid took a sledgehammer and bashed a throne? Yeah, Dave.
Well, keep in mind that Rhodes Kid is now the world champion of the other company. So,
but this whole taking shots and slapping you around, come on, Dave. If the thing happened with Billy Gunn and it went differently, maybe I would, but probably not in this day and age. If Lex Luger went into the Hall of Fame in Waterloo, Iowa, then I would have absolutely no problem. Absolutely none. When it's WWE Hall of Fame on a WWE broadcast, you can look at it like doing Luger a favor rather than WWE, but that's the weakness they're counting on. How many guys from WWE under contract are allowed to do Sting's retirement show? 0. So why should you reciprocate? If Lex Luger wasn't allowed to do Sting's show, that's my argument. That was the stupidest thing he's said so far. If Lex Luger wasn't allowed to do Sting's show, come on. I do not see any reason why Tony should be cooperative other than if it's a business deal and they make a business deal. If they want to go in there and make a business deal and say, well, plug all in during our show, maybe I'd consider it at that point. Okay. So even if it's not a quote unquote business deal, you have a guy who is associated with your company on WWE TV, and there will be talk about that.
Right.
What the fuck?
Realistically, I think that, if I was Tony Khan, I would absolutely let Sting do it, with the caveat that they actually mention AEW in a positive light, not as a pissant t-shirt.
How do you shoehorn that into the conversation?
You can literally say AEW wrestler or whatever, however you want to address it, refer to Sting as an AEW talent.
My thing with that is he's wrestled at every promotion.
I totally get that, but I'm saying you kind of have to kiss a little bit of ass in order to get what you want. But I don't understand why I've never been a fan of the divisiveness and the tribalism, even when it's fans especially. But with promotions, yeah, like, come on, just for situations like a Hall of Fame, like a final match, like, those types of things, I definitely think that the promotions should put their differences aside and play ball with each other. Just this past weekend with the Chris Bey show, we saw the amazing capability and what can happen when people do, put their differences to the side, and those promoters allow those talents to be on the same show and, in essence, work together.
Yeah. Speaking of, let's talk about the sold out Mecca 10 here in Las Vegas.
Right.
A crowd of around 800 or so people turned out to support Chris Bey. There was some really cool moments. We had Morrison, Leo Rush, Ace Austin, and Rick Knox in the ring and doing a nice little huddle together. And it was a very entertaining match. Of course,
hug the ref.
Yeah,
hug the ref.
Big hug. You had Killer Cross, Karrion Kross's return to FSW, and him and Hammerstone went all over the place. And Karrion Kross even mentioned the fact that after the match, Hammerstone, did you really have to hit me with a chair on a charity show? Frankie Kazarian making the referee hold the ropes open for him because he's someone special. Swerve, man. AJ Francis in the Battle Royal. You had the Rascals there in a great tag team four-way. Rob Van Dam showed up to support Katie Forbes, his wife. There's Katie.
Forbes.
There you go. Oh, hey, look, the pre-show hosted by David Difference and myself and Melissa Santos, I think, in the background there, maybe. Oh, God. What the hell was that? Oh, boy. Oh, my God. Holy cow. Look at that. Look at the Badboyz. And all
There's some
their
sexy
glory.
motherfuckers right there.
Right?
Yeah. We were lucky enough to get some moments here.
Come on, Knox, get with the groove. Come on, Knox.
Again, how entertaining was Trevor?
Exactly.
It is within him to be very entertaining, and what I saw yesterday was that was the most entertaining wrestling I've seen in over a month. So
yeah, it was a solid show from top to bottom, man. Everybody busted their ass, and it didn't feel, obviously it had the feelings of a tribute show, of a charity show, but everybody brought their A game. And for what was it, 4 hours of the event runtime, it was entertaining throughout the show, and you really can't say enough positive things. One thing that did stand out, unfortunately, Swerve is still suffering from that ruptured eardrum, but he said that he owes us one, so he's going to be coming back to Vegas to go one-on-one with Kenny King sometime soon in 2020.
To whose house? Bey's house. Let's get that rocking. Whose house? Bey's house. Whose house? Bey's house. Whose house? Bey's house. Whose house? Bey's house. That's how it is.
There you go. A little swerve there. Yeah.
Everybody there was a class act. All of the wrestlers in attendance were, dare I say, family oriented. There was a unity amongst all of them. There was one part I was walking in the back and Brian Cage was holding his baby and he goes, "Could you hold the Swerve and hold my kid real quick?" I was just like, oh, this is amazing. This is really amazing. And they made note of that when they got out, and they were like, yeah, this is what we're like behind stage. It's just good to watch. Yeah.
Then MK taking a gore through a door. That was beautiful stuff. One final thing here.
Why is Joe sitting up there like Palpatine?
I deserve it. The energy,
Look at him.
the injury.
I felt that.
The love. Y'all scared me for a second. I was like, dang. How you feel? Until I figure out exactly what I want to say, I'm going to leave it at this. I love you.
love you. I thank you. I am nothing without you. Thank you.
24 hours ago, and just still fresh in the mind. Great experience, great energy for such a small room. Steve was trying to figure out how many people were there. We were trying to do the math.
It was 800-ish, so somewhere in the just under 800 or just over 800 was the
and nobody was leaving their seats at any of the matches except to go to another part of the arena and get a better view, because some of these fights were going into different parts of this small little room, and that's when you have a good show. And I said the reason why it was good is nobody was taking themselves too seriously, so people were allowed to cut loose and explore a little bit, dare I say, and it was entertaining. I was entertained.
Absolutely.
And
all
it
right,
went for the right cause. So
yeah, exactly. It was an incredible night. Okay, speaking of entertaining, this is always entertaining, Steve. All right, AEW over under this week for you.
All right, so last week I said that Mox would get juice within 3 minutes of the match starting. Well, he intentionally went out and sandbagged me, so I missed my first over-under since we've been doing this segment, but the motherfucker took a bed of nails shot to the back, so whatever. This week, though, I've got to point this out, and I've been doing a lot of criticism of AEW. A lot of people might think that it's just me talking shit, but the fact is, I have to say this stuff because if I don't, then I'm not being honest, and that's not what I want to, that's not the message I want to get out there. Anyway, this week we actually have 5 matches announced. 5 matches announced for Dynamite. And they promoted them actively during the programming this week. So first off, nice job with doing that. Now, if we could just make sure that we have this happen every week so that people actually buy tickets to go to your show because they know who's going to be on the show. Might be a good idea.
Yeah.
Anyway, this week, one of those matches just so happens to be Kenny Omega wrestling Blake Christian.
Who?
Yeah, Blake Christian. So you might know him from Ring of Honor. So I know Travis had mentioned the synergy with the Ring of Honor brand, but this is kind of in reverse. We need to have AEW guys going to Ring of Honor, not so much Ring of Honor guys going to AEW. And the fact is,
I'm sorry, I'm a noob. Who is Blake Christian?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Are these like the Iron Workhorsemen's, like young boy?
It might as well be. Might as well be. He's not, but he might as well be. They haven't built anything up. But the fact is, he's wrestling Kenny Omega. And Kenny Omega is going into Dynasty, where he's defending his international championship in a 3-way against Speedball Mike Bailey and Ricochet. This match is going to exemplify what just something that gets to me about AEW, man. Every match has to be a banger. Every match has to be a 50-50. Every match has to go 15, 20 minutes. It doesn't need to be that way. This match should go no longer than 8 minutes, which is why I'm setting the over-under at over 8 minutes. Kenny Omega, Blake Christian should not be an 8-minute match. It should be a 5-minute match at the most, especially when Kenny Omega is a champion and you need to establish him as being a dominant champion. So again,
can we put this on FanDuel?
Dude, we might as well. Fucking promo code Vegas Badboyz. Let it rip.
Christopher says it should be. Christopher says it should be a 10 squash, a quick squash like that. He also says Blake Christensen is super sexy, so maybe that's why Kenny wanted to wrestle him.
Could be.
Okay, Mr. President, what's your pontification?
I've been watching all Elite Wrestling, and they've been sucking an egg. This is truly terrible, truly, truly terrible wrestling. John Moxley got poked in the back. Okay. If I wanted to watch it, I'd watch their grainy Renee Young sex tapes where she's pegging him every weekend. Okay. If I wanted to see him take something hard in the back. So very sad what they've done to John. They call him the Mox. He needs to go back to eating the box because nothing is happening here. Nothing to see here. And then we've got Marina Shafir. I am afraid that she's never going to amount to anything, and she's going to make AEW an indie brand again. And then we've got little Trevor, little itty bitty Ricochet. Ricochet took a shit all over the ring. He doesn't know how to cut a promo. Let him just go out there and beat Trevor. Maybe Trevor will be more entertaining. I don't know. But you know what's really entertaining? Watching me beat up a bunch of open micers this coming Monday at the Bonfire at 8 o'clock, where I take on, along with Mistress KY. Look up Mistress K on your socials, or Vegas Trump Guy. And the Bonfire on Monday night, where I beat up a bunch of open micers and win hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. It's going to be, quite honestly, tremendous. Thank you. And God bless Donald Trump.
All right, time for us to take a little social media dump this week. First things first, since we're talking AEW, this is exactly what I felt like when I saw Billy Starks wrestle Mercedes Moné. I felt like Monet was just kind of sitting there and taking advantage of a little kid. Oh man!
How do you even find
if it gets us Athena versus Mercedes at All In, I'm in. Let's fucking go.
Excuse me. Who's Athena?
The Ring of Honor Women's Champion. Yeah, you wouldn't know her because she hasn't been on TV in 2 years because she's sequestered to Ring of Honor.
I remember there was this chick once named Ember Moon. Would she happen to have any relations?
Much like El Generico and another guy in WWE, there might be a connection between the two.
Okay.
You know, speaking of relations, I was this month's old when I found out that Santino Varela says his daughter, NXT's Ariana Grace, to push for an appearance on WWE SmackDown this Friday in Bologna, Italy. My daughter wrestles in NXT. I believe this year she'll be called up to the main roster. So I messaged her yesterday and said, hey, see if you can debut in Bologna. It would be nice. It would be hysterical. I don't know if she will, but that would be amazing. Unfortunately, she did not. But that makes the relationship of the the two of them backstage when they're on TNA that much more interesting. It's just amazing.
I went to the show, the Cobra.
Well, I don't know if that's a good idea, Santino. Italy. Liv was having some fun in Italy. Her and Raquel holding up the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and Liv is just the best. Pointing out on a little statue of David there. She's pointing at the dink. It's amazing. Hey, you want to eat your Yeeties? Now, if you don't like your Yeeties, remember you can always go with Frosted Mini Yeets. Hey, you guys remember the Nacho Man Randy Savage? Or are you more familiar with Randy Macho Man Cabbage?
Oh,
there's a fan art of Mick Foley there as Mankind. Of course, that scene in Spider-Man where Tobey Maguire has to look at those McDonald's French fries, puts on his glasses, and sees that it's really John Cena.
Oh, God.
Or better.
Oh, God.
Austin Hogan.
Oh, jeez.
Or Stone Cold Steve Austin Powers. This
Fuck,
one's just for
dude.
I
you,
didn't
Rob.
even-
A fan wrote.
Oh, dear
Melvin
Lord
M.
God.
Cruz wrote, I don't care what anybody say. Jim Ross is overrated commentary, period.
Period.
P-R-I-E-D. Michael Cole is better 100%.
Goddamn
one's for
certain
you,
that that guy eats Hormel chili right out of the can cold. All right. Fuck you. As God is my witness, you'll be broken in half.
Some wrestlers with people who are now in the wrestling industry when they were younger taking pictures with those. Look at Ricochet, good old Trevor and Hunter.
God damn.
Yeah. How about this? The Rock and Bo Dallas.
Oh God.
MJF and Rated RKO. Braun Breaker with his uncle Scotty. Chris Jericho with a high as hell Ricky Steamboat.
That's awesome.
Stone Cold Steve Austin with Marshall Mathers. I mean, CM Punk. And of course, Sting with a little special needs boy. I hope that kid gets some help. I hate to break some news here, but The Undertaker didn't die and come back to life.
Damn it.
Meltzer said he did.
And John Cena was never in the military.
Don't say.
There is no money inside the money in the bank briefcase.
What?
RKO actually comes from somewhere.
Oh shit.
And Lana Rhodes is not related to Cody Rhodes.
Blasphemy.
Look
He can
that
fix
one
that.
up. Ladies and gentlemen, look that one up. New show debuting on Disney Plus. Cody. And remember, Lita was a Godfather hoe at one point in her career. And of course, Eddie Guerrero in 2000 and Dominic Guerrero in 2025. I mean, there's no doubt he is his kid, right?
Oh, yeah.
But most importantly, it's Vader time. It's always Vader time. All right. Final thoughts, Rob.
Keep America great again. And go to Vegas, Trump guy.
Okay. All right. That's fair enough. Steve, your final thoughts.
All right. Hey, thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, doing all the stuff that you guys do. That's right. We appreciate each and every one of you. Also, very special thank you to all the brave men and women serving this country, even though he wasn't in the military. Thank you for doing what you do so that we can do what we love to do. And last but not least, repsports.com, reppsports.com. Go there for all your pre-workout, weight loss, and general energy needs. Repsports.com. Use promo code Vegas at checkout. Save yourself 15%.
There you go. It's been just one hell of a whirlwind of just emotions and an amazing night last night for Chris. Words just cannot really paint the picture. It's great to see that people were tuning in on Triller. You can still go to Triller and catch the show. Just amazing. Just an amazing night and time. And, nothing better than seeing the community come together for someone who is as special as Chris. Let's go back to the Virgin.
You were so great for Collision. How many of you had been to AEW before tonight?
Yep, the Virgin is still going. So I don't know what else to say. With that, everyone, thank you for tuning in and joining in on the conversation. We will be back again next week, Sunday. So tune in. And what the hell is what? Oh my God! You look
He's
like
got the
dick.
fucking headband.
He looks like a dick with a cock ring on. Jesus Christ.
It's your biggest ring. It's quite honestly not big enough to support a cock this big. Okay, believe me. Believe me.
With that, everybody, thank you for hanging out. We'll do it all again next week. Till then, happy wrestling.
Rolling up the strip under neon lights. Podcast mic is glowing in the desert nights. Matt Michaels leading with the swagger tights. Sin City Steve right by your side. Alright. Rob Larry dropping truths, no fear. Broadcasting stories, make it loud and clear. From the Fremont edges to the Bellagio sphere. These bad boys rule, let me make that clear. Vegas bad boys, tearing up the scene.
To Matt Michaels and the Vegas Boys of Podcasting, this is John Cena saying thank you so much